In the kingdom of Malaki, there lived a wicked and mysterious king named Solo. He ruled with an iron fist, instilling fear in the hearts of his people. Unlike other rulers, he remained unmarried and shrouded in secrecy. His most feared power was his ability to control the elements. He could summon rain or scorching sun upon any land at will, making him seem almost godlike. Many whispered that he practiced powerful juju, dark magic inherited from forgotten ancestors. No one dared question him except for a single brave nun from the village. She confronted him, warning that tampering with nature's balance would bring dire consequences. Enraged by her audacity, the king struck her, breaking her arm, and ordered his guards to lock her in a dark, windowless dungeon, never to be seen again. That very night, a strange and terrible thing happened. A grotesque hump, shaped like a horn, began to grow on his head. Determined to keep his deformity a secret, King Solo ensured that not even his closest soldiers knew about the horn. He devised a sinister plan. Every time his hair grew too long, he would send his soldiers to lure a barber to the palace with promises of wealth. Once inside, the barber was handed a golden barber's knife to shave the king. Each barber, terrified upon seeing the grotesque horn, chose to remain silent to avoid the king's wrath. After the shave, the king would graciously invite them into his treasure room to take whatever they desired from a large chest. However, the moment they opened the chest, he would push them inside, sending them to their doom in a bottomless pit. Over time, barbers in the kingdom began disappearing mysteriously. The villagers noticed the dwindling numbers and grew anxious. Without barbers, hair grew wildly, making the people unkempt and desperate. Those who dared to cut hair in secret lived in fear, knowing the king's soldiers would come for them next. One day, the king's guards scoured the land for yet another barber. After a long search, they heard the melodious tune of a flute. Following the sound, they found a young boy named Sefu, who was learning the barber's craft under the guidance of his mother. Since women were forbidden from shaving the king, Sefu was her only hope of passing down her skills. The soldiers seized Sefu and dragged him to the palace. His mother, stricken with grief, pleaded with the soldiers to let her give him something before they took him away. She handed him 3 pieces of bread, whispering, "Keep these close, my son. They will guide you when all else fails." At the palace, King Solo handed Sefu the golden barber's knife. The boy's hands trembled as he approached the king's head. He gasped at the sight of the horn, but, unknowing of what to do or say of it, he remained silent and focused on his task. Once he finished, the king inspected his reflection in the polished knife and, pleased with the shave, said, "You have done well, boy. Now, enter my treasure room and take your reward." Sefu, unaware of the king's treacherous ways, stepped into the treasure room. As soon as he opened the chest, the king shoved him inside. Down he fell, expecting death. But fate had other plans. He landed in a cavern littered with bones and skeletons. Before he could gather his wits, a ferocious dragon-like serpent slithered toward him, its golden eyes burning with hunger. Sefu, though terrified, did not panic. Instead, he reached for his flute and began playing a soft, soothing melody. The serpent, enchanted by the tune, ceased its attack and listened in fascination. Though its hunger remained, it was touched by the boy's courage and generosity when he offered it a piece of bread. The serpent accepted the gift and, in return, guided Sefu through an underground river to an escape tunnel. Upon emerging, Sefu found himself in a dense forest. Exhausted but relieved, he took a moment to rest. However, his troubles were not over. A massive bear, its fur matted and its belly growling with hunger, emerged from the trees. Sefu instinctively played his flute, but the bear was unmoved. Desperate, he offered it his second piece of bread. The bear devoured it and, appeased, lumbered away, sparing the boy's life. Continuing his journey, Sefu encountered a pack of wolves blocking his path. Their eyes gleamed with suspicion, and they snarled menacingly. Remembering his mother's gift, he took out the last piece of bread and placed it on the ground. The wolves, instead of attacking, sniffed the bread curiously. The leader of the pack took a bite and wagged its tail in approval. Recognizing Sefu as no threat, they allowed him to pass unharmed. Finally, after days of traveling, Sefu arrived back in his village. The people, who had long feared he was lost, rejoiced at his return. He told them of the king's wicked deeds and the fate of the missing barbers. Enraged and heartbroken, the villagers decided they would no longer be victims of the king's cruelty. They declared it a sacred law. No one would ever shave again. As the years passed, the village became known for its long, flowing hair, growing meters upon meters, a testament to their defiance. King Solo, unable to find barbers, was forced to let his own hair grow uncontrollably. The weight of his thick mane and the ever-growing horn became unbearable. His once mighty presence turned grotesque, and he withdrew into isolation, tormented by his own arrogance and cruelty. The nun's warning had come true. His obsession with controlling nature had led to his downfall. Sefu, hailed as a hero, became the village's wisest elder. As the years passed, the tale of King Solo and the brave young barber, Sefu, became a lesson for all who heard it. The once mighty king, who sought to control nature and rule through fear, was ultimately consumed by his own arrogance. His unchecked cruelty led to his downfall, proving that no ruler, no matter how powerful, can escape the judgment of time and fate. And so, the people of Malaki carried this wisdom for generations that a leader who rules with fear will one day be ruled by it. True strength lies not in power or wealth, but in kindness, wisdom, and respect for the balance of life. For when a man fights against nature and justice, he is only digging his own grave. Please, if you enjoyed this story, kindly subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell for such interesting stories.